I'll forgive you for thinking that that's a Harbor Freight parts washer pump because it looks just like one. It actually came off of an Eastwood parts washer, but I just upgraded it, and I'll show you what I did to it in a minute. Hi everybody, this is Floyd. Welcome back to the asylum. I don't have a motorcycle project to show you this time. I have a tool project. Right before my accident, my parts washer quit working. And it's kind of a sad story. For about 15 to 16 years, I used one of the cheapest Harbor Freight parts washers there was, and it served me quite well. And when it finally quit working, I decided I was bucks up enough to buy an Eastwood. And it barely made it 4.5 years before it quit working. So anyhow, I did not film me working on the parts washer. Sometimes video content gets in the way of working. It makes work take longer. And I really wanted to get this done correct and faster. But I will show you what I did so that you can duplicate it. So let's walk inside here and take a look. Okay, here you can see my 40-gallon parts washer. And I had been running the water-based chemicals in here to keep it clean and everything. But I have discovered that those water-based chemicals tend to corrode very rapidly. If you get any scratches or anything on it, or you don't immediately pull your iron parts out and clean them up. So I modified this one. Instead of simply repairing it, I modified it so that I could use the Crown deodorized kerosene in it. It works quite well, but you cannot put petroleum-based solvents in these parts washers as they come from the factory. I'll show you what all I did to it. First of all, here on the inside, you can see what I was talking about the rust. That comes from years of using water-based parts washer fluid in here. You leave anything sitting on top of this, get a good scratch in it, whatever, the water will instantly cause it to rust. Over here, now I might change the design of this fitting later, but it seems like it will work just fine for me now. If you will look down inside here, you can see that I've got a metal screen underneath the magnet. The magnet is always something that I put in them to catch metallic particles before it goes through. But now let's take a look underneath, because like I said, you need a pump that is rated for fuel in order to use a petroleum-based solvent. And parts washer pumps, specialty parts washer pumps, are very expensive. So what I've done here is I got this very small 3.7 gallon per minute fuel transfer pump from Amazon, and use that. That actually matches the flow rate, the advertised flow rate of the replacement parts washer pumps I saw that would fit this. So I threaded in on the drain plug. I took the drain plug out, threaded in a 1/4-inch coupling and a ball valve. There I went to a reducer fitting, the 1/2 inch, go to a 1/2 inch hose, and I brought that in. This fuel filter is pretty much a generic one. I'll have links to all these parts in the description so you can purchase them if you wish. Maybe not all the plumbing fittings, but definitely the pump and the fuel filter and stuff. So I've got the right reducer to put everything in there. This fuel filter is so big that it should last me a couple of years at least. But if not, I can get another one and spin on here pretty quickly. It is from JDM Speed brand on Amazon, which I don't put too much stock in that. As long as it works, I'm happy. I do not know how long this pump will last. This pump has mixed reviews, but there'll be a link to it. For what I want with it, it seems to work fine. Of course, exiting the pump, I necked down the 1/4-inch fittings and 1/4-inch hose. And I come over here, and you can see I've got it basically a homemade bulkhead fitting into the side of the parts washer using a pair of couplers, washers, and a close nipple. And then the factory discharge nozzle actually fit right on top of that. The pump has its own power switch here. Now it also has a forward and reverse switch. You want to make sure that you do not put it in reverse while you're using this. You come down here. The other caution is when you're using any kind of solvent or petroleum-based fluid in here, when you're not using it, you need to keep the lid closed. First thing we do for operation, make sure this valve is open. Then I'll come up here, I'll reach up here and turn the switch on. And as you can see, it has a really good stout flow to it. The flow is probably more than the original parts washer was, but that's okay. It's one of the things I was worried about with using a fuel transfer pump. Most of them are very large and are rated for 15 to 20 gallons per minute, which would be way too much. You would have fluid splattering everywhere. But I think that this 3.7 gallons per minute pump will work just fine. I may wind up taking this off and exchanging it for a hose with a brush on the end of it. We'll see how it goes. I've used it for years with this nozzle on it, so I'll probably stick to that. But anyhow, that's basically it for the day. Like I said, I wanted to show you guys what I did, how it should work. This should cut down on the rust. And I don't know how long this pump will last. I mean, it's a cheap $79 fuel transfer pump, generic type. I mean, it has a brand name, but I don't even remember what it was. But it was rated for diesel, gasoline, ethanol, and kerosene. And since I'm not putting it under any undue strain, the only important thing to remember when you buy these little inexpensive pumps is to look at the duty cycle. This one has a 30-minute duty cycle. So that basically means for every 30 minutes of runtime, you need to let it cool off for 30 minutes. But that would be perfectly fine for parts washing. I mean, I have stood up here for a while washing things, but it just means that I can't go away and leave the hose running in something while I go to lunch break or something. So that's fine. But anyhow, that's pretty much it for this week. I just wanted to show you what I've been up to. I haven't been up to as much as I should. If you watch any of my shorts, you see that I did finally pull the cylinder and the head off of my Yamaha SR 500 project, which looked like it was done, and I thought it was done, but I'm putting a big bore kit and a hot cam in it, so keep watching this, keep up with that. As always, I hope that you would like the videos and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to get back to work here on these things. Oh yeah, don't forget, if you go to japan.webike.net, use code PSYCHO1 for 5% off your order. So that's it for now. I showed you this dirty, dingy little corner of my shop that I don't normally let anybody see because it's boring washing parts. But washing parts is one of the most important things we do when we're restoring or modifying something. And like I said, having a little stream here, this works out really good. So until next time, keep riding, keep wrenching, stay crazy.